Assalamu alaikum. Today we're going to talk about sexual harassment at workplace. It's one of the most controversial topic that people hardly discuss, but it's one of the most common issue that faced by females at workplace. Because in our society, there are like part of the workforce comprises of females, and it's fall into both category: the literate ones who are part of management, the illiterate one who are doing small jobs to support their families. So I think it's very important that we discuss this, that how we can create a safe working environment for us, and if there anything happens to us in this context of sexual harassment, then how we can deal with it effectively, so that we can perform more better. Uh, Unfortunately, there are few people who are in part of this sexual harassment at workplace, and they actually uh, creating an issue for the females and affecting their performance. However, there are so many good people in the organization who ensure that females are safe and they work like a family. So we cannot deny the role of those people who are very positive and acceptable towards females at workplace. But just because those people who are creating issues, so we need to discuss this so that most females feel at ease when they are enter the workplace. So, according to McKinsey, they have conducted a study in 2018 in women in the workplace, and according to them, we found out 35% of the women experience some form of sexual harassment over the course of their career. So, this is something that is very common even abroad. And unfortunately, in our society, there is no statistics in place. But I've recently created a poll, and to the top of the list, the issue that female faced in Pakistan is basically the sexual harassment. So I think it's very important that we talk about it so that female can deal with it effectively if there's a certain kind of situation in place. So what harassment feels like? It's all start with a random comment like the lipstick color suits you, or cracking some dirty joke, or telling some story that is inappropriate to share with females, or touching hand while handing over some file of paper, insisting on staying late at work, telling you to dress up certain way. I'm not saying that if anybody is asking you to do any of the thing, then he's actually doing harassment, but this is how it started. Maybe if it's the culture of the organization, and if you're comfortable staying late at work because the people you work with are very nice to you, then there's nothing wrong. Or if there's a requirement for being sitting late and doing work, then it's okay. But if something that is making you uncomfortable and it's one of the part of it, then I think you are part of harassment. So, why people are afraid to share or tell a report about harassment? There are reasons to it. They are afraid that what is they going to be fired with by the people. They're like most of the harassment things happen by people that are in authority or in powerful position. So people fear that what if end up losing job if they're going to share report it, or of what if they're going to be judged because there's a gossip milk in the organization and people looking for something to talk about. So instead of reaching to a solution, they look for issues that they create in the workplace. And then sometimes people believe that if we're going to share about it, then we're going to receive more negative limelight instead of receiving any kind of support, because unfortunately in our society there are females that are uh, if they are good females, there are bad females as well who are not of a very good character, and they know how to play that victim card in the organization just to get things done. So those people who are actually the victims, they find it difficult to share it because they fear that what if they it damage the reputation of that individual, because people find it so easy to blame on the other person, and the person who's in authority is easy to get away with that situation. So the Protection Against Harassment of Women at the Workplace Act 2010 is one of the act that actually protect our rights. And according to that act, harassment is defined as any unwelcome sexual advance, request for sexual favors, or other verbal or written communication or physical conduct of a sexual nature, or sexually demeaning attitude causing interference with work performance, or creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment, or the attempt to punish the complainant for refusal to comply to such a request, or is made a condition for employment. So if you are coming across any of the situation where you asked to behave in a certain way so that you can get a job or you can get promotion, and it's fall under this definition of harassment, then you have a right actually to report this case and take it into to the court. But my point is that how you can stop it at the initial level so that it won't go further. Because reporting come later, how you deal with it initially matter most. So I suggest that first you document it. Like if there is a coworker, there is a subordinate, there is a colleague in your organization, even if there is an external customer and you have to deal with him on daily basis, and he's texting you or he's emailing you or he's saying things to you that are inappropriate, then you have every right to document it. If somebody is kind of person who speaks in private but like not doing it in writing, then you can actually record the voice, because in our society it's very important you keep a evidence, otherwise nobody can believe that. So you need to create an evidence, you need to create a record, you need to document it, so that if a situation goes bad, then you're in a position to share the evidence that you have. Then make it clear it's unwelcome. If you are when you are near the organization, so females find it difficult to tell that what makes them uncomfortable. So especially when you are one female in the department, so people are not used to talk to females in the workplace because they are kind to used to the old ways. So you need to tell them what makes you uncomfortable, and I think there is nothing wrong about it. Like if somebody's remarks, somebody's way of handling things, somebody's way of telling you things is making you uncomfortable, it's not necessarily you start shouting at that person, but convey the message that this is not making me uncomfortable, this is not making me comfortable, so that any person who's sensible enough will not take it as something to be annoyed at, and would I think try his her best to accommodate you so that you can feel safe and comfortable. Then be vocal about it in public. Most of the harassment cases, especially sexual harassment cases, happen within the privacy of some closed rooms, closed doors, because such people make sure that nobody has an idea that what the other person is going through, and he has every right to blackmail you. So if this is the scenario, then I suggest that tell somebody that you trust in the organization, be vocal about it, so that the other person know that somebody also knows about the situation and he can take any action if something goes wrong. This way you can save yourself. And the last thing, inform someone in authority. Uh, Alhamdulillah, we always have some people in our organization who respect female, who make sure that they treat them they like their own family. So if you feel like you're not able to deal with it on your own, you can inform somebody in authority so that he might can take that certain action and deal with the situation in a better manner. And mostly your bosses are in a position to take such decisions, so if you know you can't handle it in your person, then you can tell them, you can trust them, and I think they can, if they are sensible people and they care about the environment and safety of females, then they make sure that they do it every way to create a conducive environment. Now, the question comes how we can avoid engaging in sexual harassment. Most of the people, when come across this thing that you acted in certain manner that actually makes the other person uncomfortable, so maybe they are coming from a culture or an environment where such things are considered normal. So if this is the case, then how you can avoid engaging in sexual harassment is basically rely on courtesy rather than contact. Like avoid physical contact, shaking hands, patting on the back, hugging, instead of go for the courtesy. Then compliment on merit, on performance, on the way she is doing work rather than her appearance. And then there come the concept of personal space. Everybody has the concept of personal space, and you invade it, try to invade it, that makes the other person uncomfortable. So make sure that you maintain distance or space, you are not standing too close. Then you take responsibility for your behavior. It's very important that you take responsibility for your behavior. uh, if you are doing something wrong, and if you have done something wrong by mistake, then and you apologize for it, so make sure you don't do it again. And this is how you can make the other person assured it. There's no point in apologizing when you're doing the same thing again and again. And then put yourself in other person's shoes. If you are making a comment about certain ethnic group, race, gender, or sexual orientation, then make sure that you know that how it feels like if somebody is doing the same to you, so that you make sure that you won't say anything that hurts somebody. So this is how we can avoid engaging in sexual harassment. So these are some of the tips that can help you to create a safe working environment. I appreciate those who are in the organization, our male colleagues. Please make sure that you find such act where somebody is involving in kind of in situation or threatening the peace of someone's mind. Then please act responsibility, report it to someone in authority, or actually listen to that person, support him or her so can take an action. So this is all from my end. Thank you. If you like the video, do share with others. Educate people in your organization, especially the females, about their rights so that they can work at their best in the comfort and safe working environment. Take care. Allah Hafiz.